Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the April 18th edition of Carolina Week.
Harrison Barnes has decided Carolina is the place for him to be next season.
I'm Preston Stanley. Tonight, a university program is coming under fire, and some students are questioning their safety.
In sports, the baseball team struggles in Raleigh, and a look at the pros and cons of the college football bowl system.
Weathercaster Joe Belanger will tell us if we can expect the 80s to return.
All that and rollerblading taken to the extreme.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Carolina basketball fans can't wait for the new season to begin. Good evening, I'm Joelle Kaplan.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thanks for joining us. We already knew the Heels were going to be good. And now that Harrison Barnes is officially returning for his sophomore season, they should be great.
Sportscaster Andy Reeves joins us in the studio. Andy, this is some really good news for the people who bleed Carolina blue.
I mean, seriously, like we thought Harrison was coming back, but we didn't know for sure, and now we finally have that confirmation.
Yeah, we've been waiting quite some time for Harrison Barnes to make a decision, but with his return, the Heels should have a dominant front court. It's official. Harrison Barnes is keeping his talents in Chapel Hill next season. Fans can look forward to driving shots and a lot of pretty jump shots for at least one more season. Harrison Barnes says he still has goals to accomplish in Chapel Hill, and the team has one goal in mind: winning a national championship. And of course, with news like this, the team has a good chance of achieving that goal on the shoulders of Barnes and a terrific group of incoming and returning athletes. So Barnes and Henson and Zeller are all back. This team should be loaded.
Oh, we're gonna be fire on the court. We're gonna be knocking people down left and right. I'm excited.
You know what? Just let the high expectations begin.
Exactly.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy. On a much more somber note, the tornadoes that ripped through parts of our state this weekend are causing some of our neighbors to pack up and leave school before the end of the semester. Trees ripped out of the ground, campus buildings severely damaged, and on a day when students would normally be attending classes, they're packing up and moving out. After a tornado passed through Shaw University in Raleigh Saturday night, school president Irma McLaren deemed the campus unsafe and canceled classes for the rest of the semester. All students are supposed to move out by today. Freshman Diamond Alexander is sad about the turn of events.
We were all ready to go home, but not like this. Like, we have to remember our campus as a wreck when we leave instead of the normal Shaw University.
Professors will grade students based on work completed through this past Friday, and graduation is still scheduled for May 7th.
The tornadoes didn't get close enough to our campus for the sirens to sound, but tonight the warning system is coming under fire. Some question when and how officials choose to use it when there's not severe weather, but some other threat. Preston Stanley joins us live in the studio. Preston, what's happening with Alert Carolina?
Joelle, the old saying goes, better safe than sorry, and some students question whether the university uses Alert Carolina at the right times. Now officials say student response could lead to some major changes. That's the sound of the Alert Carolina siren, the sound students didn't hear 2 weeks ago when police say an armed robbery happened in Morrison Residence Hall.
Makes me feel not at ease in my dorm, someplace I feel like I should feel safe.
Tyler, too, lives just a few floors away from where it happened, but didn't find out about it until 12 hours later.
I think it's the students' right to know that something like that is happening.
Chancellor Holden Thorpe has asked for a review of Alert Carolina policies. That review started Thursday when a group of UNC executives and student representatives met to talk about changes. Chief Jeff McCracken says change will come.
We have some revisions to the policy that not only makes people more comfortable, but provides a more safe environment.
First that armed robbery, then last week police say a student reported he'd been beaten up. Students weren't told right away, but yet police say they did follow protocol. Alert Carolina policies state that sirens will sound only when an armed or dangerous person is on or near campus, when there's a major chemical spill or hazard, or when there's a tornado nearby. Alert messages go out when police choose. Still, students like Tyler wonder if they're really safe.
You hear about this at other campuses and stuff, and you never think this would happen in Chapel Hill. And it happened right in my back door, you know.
Now, in fact, it was the 2007 Virginia Tech murders that prompted the creation of the Alert Carolina system, and Chief McCracken has assured me that changes will be coming to make students feel safer.
Now, Preston, any idea of when those changes will actually occur?
Well, the chief wasn't quite sure about that, but committees will continue to meet during the next few months, and officials will probably implement new policies by the fall.
That's Preston Stanley starting us off live in the studio. The Alert Carolina policies and procedures are on our website at carolinaweek.org. With harassment policies in the midst of changes, UNC students use complete silence to make a loud statement about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender harassment. After not talking all day Friday, students gathered in the Union to break the silence with a poetry slam by spoken word groups and others who have been affected by sexual discrimination and violence.
But the truth of the matter is discrimination unveiled. Now actions speak. Sam still stands silent. Chapel Hill still stands silent.
The event's website says nearly 9 of every 10 LGBT students are harassed in American schools.
In light of the recent armed robbery on campus, gun proponents say being able to arm themselves would lead to a safer environment. Jennifer Kessinger reports.
Senior Rosie Bucciarati didn't ask for jewelry or a car for her 21st birthday. She asked for a handgun. And if she could, she'd carry it with her on campus.
I think it's silly that we can carry guns, that legal permit holders can carry guns almost anywhere else, but they can't on campuses.
And Bucciarati isn't the only student with a strong opinion about concealed weapons on college campuses. Pending legislation that would allow concealed carry on campuses in Texas has triggered a debate at UNC. The Tar Heel Rifle and Pistol Club has been the most vocal group in favor of gun rights on campus. Even if students were able to carry concealed weapons, getting the proper permit wouldn't be an easy process. A student would have to be 21 years old, have no criminal background, and live off campus. And as I found out this weekend, it takes training to be able to safely handle and shoot a gun. I had to pass a safety orientation before I could take aim with a 9mm handgun. But Bucciarati isn't content to shoot only at the range. She wants to have her gun handy as a means of self-defense.
And it's just like if, I as a 22-year-old can carry a gun other places once I get my permit, why can't I carry it here? I would rather not be a sitting duck.
Although she can't shoot right now because of an injured wrist, she wants to be able to if threatened, and says it's her Second Amendment right to bear arms. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Kessinger, Carolina Week.
Opposing groups haven't been vocal about the issue so far, and none responded to our requests for an interview.
Students are already starting to use UNC's new email system. About 1,200 people have opted in so far, and all students and faculty must change by the fall semester. The new system has document, calendar, and task sharing services starting in May. But it also has one major drawback. Students who use other email services like Gmail can no longer forward their emails to the other account. This is part of a new policy to ensure sensitive information stays classified.
What do you think? Do business school students have it too easy? Well, a national survey says yes. A recent study says business students spend less time studying compared to students in all other majors. It also says professors complain that students don't invest enough time in their coursework. But don't worry, renowned business schools like UNC's Keenan Flagler aren't part of this group. Here at UNC, the business major is widely considered one of the most competitive majors. Now, Joelle, I don't know about you, but I really love just going to the movies sometimes.
Well, I do too, and coming up, we'll take you to a cinematic blast from the past.
You ever think about buying a bigger place? Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy. There is no credit fairy. How else will I get a better credit score? Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it. No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
The Carborough Farmers Market is open on its summer schedule, with more color than ever. You can still pick up your homemade pottery, fresh baked treats, and organic herbs, but the springtime market brings something pretty too. Mother-daughter team Marjorie and Pam Oakley have a blooming backyard in Chatham County, and they've been sharing their flowers with Carborough since its first farmers market in 1977. Pam said the duo takes care of their 2-acre garden themselves because they love what they do. UNC students are teaming up with other community groups to encourage kids and teens to read. Saturday was Global Youth Service Day, and the Student Coalition for Action in Literacy Education held a literacy fair as part of a statewide effort to tackle North Carolina's 14% illiteracy rate. The group showed reading can be fun by painting kids' faces, performing stories for the kids, and giving out free books.
If you're a fan of the TV show Glee, you might call yourself a Gleek. And this weekend, audiences here at UNC got an up-close and personal look with a real-life Glee club. Hill Hall hosted many listening ears Sunday afternoon for the spring concert of the UNC men's and women's Glee clubs. The women started the show with singing procession. Then the melodies proceeded to flow from their mouths. The men's Glee Club focused its portion on the Holy Seven Virtues. And still managed to have some fun on the stage. And you'd definitely be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't enjoy taking a trip to the South Point Cinemas or the Varsity Theater in downtown Chapel Hill to catch a movie, but reporter Justin Page had a chance to check out a different kind of movie experience just up the road in Henderson.
Gregory Brunskill is like many moviegoers who come to the Raleigh Road Outdoor Theater. Well, except perhaps a little more dedicated.
It's a 12-hour drive from Long Island with a couple of stops in between.
While visiting his father in Henderson, Brunskill and his family are just a few of those who can't resist a trip to North Carolina's oldest operating drive-in theater, a place that reaches back to a golden age.
It's just a piece of Americana. Good evening, how you doing tonight?
Jim Kopp has owned Raleigh Road since 2006. After buying the 62-year-old theater, the Library of Congress administrator and movie lover remodeled the projection room and concession stand with the dream of providing an experience you can't find at a regular theater.
There's nothing like putting a movie on the large screen, having the kids play in the playground, seeing the families out in the cars, popping the popcorn. You get all that together, and it's just magical.
And Kopp offers the magic every weekend of the year, when he turns this ordinary field into a Hollywood escape. And of course, once you have your popcorn and your drink, all you have to do is turn on your radio to listen to the show. However, Kopp admits the drive-in business isn't all that profitable. Raleigh Road is one of fewer than 400 drive-ins left in the U.S. But Kopp says he does expect the crowds to keep him in business, which is good news for drive-in lovers like Brunskill.
It's a moment that we're creating, and this is one of the moments that I like to create for my children.
And with those moments, who wouldn't want a taste of this slice of Americana? In Henderson, I'm Justin Page, Carolina Week.
That certainly looks like a lot of fun. Tickets to the theater are only $6 for adults, and if you'd like to catch a show, the theater is open every Friday through Sunday. I don't know, maybe we should go catch a show this weekend. It sounds like a lot of fun, and you know, I know it rained a little bit, but hopefully it'll be a little bit better weather this weekend.
I hope so. Weathercaster Joe Belanger joins us live in the studio. Joe, would you want to come catch a movie with us? Is it going to be nice enough out?
Yeah, that sounds great, you guys. I'll meet you there. Even tonight would be a good night to catch an outdoor movie as well, as those clear skies that we saw to this afternoon will stick with us through this evening. Will they stick with us for the next 5 days, though? I'll let you know coming up right after the break.
The Uncle Johannes, Eisenbahns make you grow up smart and successful so you can be a doctor, lawyer, handsome genius composer. Like me.
Feed your kids the arts. Visit AmericansForTheArts.org. Treat your family to Van Gogurt, packed with live and active culture to boost kids' math and reading skills.
It's sure to satisfy your hunger for inspiration.
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
So, April, yeah? You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
And a good Monday evening to you. I'm weather forecaster Joe Belanger. What a wild Saturday we had this past weekend. We'll take a second to review some of that. We also had a very nice day today. Cleared up beautifully, a lot of sunshine out there, got pretty warm as well. And then for your upcoming forecast, it's going to be one of those hit or miss summer-like kind of forecasts. All right, so this is an imagery, radar imagery from Saturday afternoon in downtown Raleigh. You'll see this is what we like to refer to as a hook-shaped echo. And all the rain that we're getting here is going to be in this hook-shaped format. And right here in the middle, that's downtown Raleigh. That's where your tornado is going to be centered. So if you ever see something like this, you're definitely going to want to take cover. Here's an image of that tornado from downtown Raleigh that destroyed many homes, many businesses. This was one of many tornadoes that swept through the central part of the state. This is a home that got destroyed. One of many homes that was destroyed through all these tornado outbreaks. Even some companies, businesses. This was a Lowe's in Sanford, North Carolina, completely destroyed. Fortunately, there were no casualties at that Lowe's. However, that was not the case for the entire state. There were a total of 22 fatalities, over 130 homes destroyed, and still counting. Number of tornadoes was reported to be 18. 5 of those were an F3. And on the scale, 5 is going to be your strongest tornado, so 3 is pretty significant. The images are still being totaled. That is going to be a question mark for now. Even 2 days later, they're still unsure, although looking at all these images, I'm sure those damages, the high numbers, are going to be rolling in shortly. This was the worst tornado outbreak North Carolina has seen since 1984. Since then, it has been clear skies, though. And right now, today, we had a lot of sunshine come through our area. A few patchy clouds popped up through our area. Not too bad. Highs got up to the low 80s. Tomorrow, we're going to follow a similar pattern with winds coming out of the southwest. So we're going to stay mild and moist. Maybe a little more humidity tomorrow than we saw today. Highs getting up to the mid-80s. There is some moisture out to our northwest that could come into our area by Wednesday afternoon, making things a little unstable. And that will continue through the second half of the work week. No real washout of a day, though. Nothing like we saw on Saturday, for sure. Tonight, partly cloudy skies for our area. Light winds out of the south. Low at 55, maybe a sweatshirt if you're heading out just to stay comfortable. Tomorrow, no sweatshirt is needed at all. High getting up to 85 degrees. Partly cloudy skies and a little bit breezy. Winds coming out of the south, like we said, keeping things mild. Your 5-day forecast is going to show the chances of rain are going to increase as the week goes on, but nothing to be too concerned about. As the week progresses, we'll know exactly when and where to expect these storms. But like we said, nothing compared to what we saw this past Saturday. That was really a historical event that we probably won't see again for quite some time.
It's good to know that that's not going to be coming back this week.
Not a regular thing.
Extremely devastating. Glad to hear that we're safe and sound now. Thanks, Joe.
We're past that point. You're welcome.
UNC is, after all, the University of National Champions. That winning tradition and the camaraderie it fosters continues long after graduation. UNC Field Hockey's Alumni Weekend, former players faced off against the current team yesterday afternoon. For 1987 grad Claire Hayes, that meant going against her daughter, Drew.
We were on each other. She was trying to get me, and
I injured her.
And she tried to hook me, and I bumped her. And
it was funny. It was just kind of a joke more than competitive.
I was competitive.
It was a matchup of the past versus the present, refereed by the one person who ties it all together. 30-year head coach Karen Shelton says Alumni Weekend tells her a lot about her own job performance.
One of the things that I judge my level of success upon is how my alums come back. Are they fit? Are they happy? Are they doing well?
For the 4-time National Coach of the Year, the proof is in the trophy cases, which are so jam-packed with the spoils of 16 ACC titles and 6 national championships that last year's national runner-up trophy gets a spot on the floor. 2-time national champion Elizabeth Drazdowski says the Tar Heels would rather not settle for second.
We hold ourselves to a higher standard. Not that other places don't, but Coach Shelton really demands the best out of us.
2009 alum Danny Forward traveled all the way from her home in South Africa, where she plays for the national team. She says the best measure of the program's significance isn't in the past or the present, but rather reflected in the eyes of potential future Tar Heels.
When you see those kids and how excited they are and how they look up to you, then you realize, okay, well, we actually got something really special here.
At the end of the day, the alums and current players are really all on the same team, which made the final score, an 8-8 tie, seem downright poetic.
I think it's fitting that it ended in a tie, though, because then you know, everyone feels like a winner.
And similarly, everyone in Tar Heel Nation feels like a winner today after some big news.
Absolutely, Joelle. I mean, we had some great news today. Sportscaster Andy Reeves joins us in the studio. Andy, Harrison Barnes, he's back.
Yeah, that's right. The wait is finally over, and Barnes has made Tar Heel fans very happy today. Coming up after the break, we'll have more about Harrison Barnes' decision to return to Carolina.
At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
When I was a kid growing up, I actually was bullied so bad I had to leave school in 8th grade and go to another school.
A safe space is a place where nobody judges you, where you're safe from bullying or from anything that you think is bad and that you don't want to go through, or your friends or your family. Every student deserves to have a safe space at school.
We need to put an end to bullying now.
Please visit safespacekit.com. Help us put a safe space kit in every school in America.
Season Harrison Barnes will still be sporting his Carolina blue. The sophomore from Ames, Iowa, has made it official in a statement he released this morning. Barnes said, "I look forward to meeting the challenging journey in the NBA, but my decision on November 13th, 2009 still holds true. I'm focused on being a student athlete, and my decision is to continue to be part of my journey at the University of North Carolina." Coach Roy Williams said, "It has been a true pleasure to coach him, and I look forward to coaching him again next season. He had a difficult decision to make. He really had no wrong decision to choose, but I believe he is coming back to school because he enjoys college basketball, he enjoys the University of North Carolina, and he enjoys his teammates." Good news for basketball, not so good for baseball. The Diamond Heels are licking their wounds after a rough weekend in Raleigh. After narrow defeats on Friday and Saturday, Carolina was blown out by the Wolfpack in 3 on Sunday. Mistakes cost the Heels all weekend, and an error on this routine play allowed the 10th Wolfpack run in the series finale. The Bruins were out in Raleigh as the Heels were swept by the Wolfpack. The men's tennis team is preparing for the ACCs after a successful end to the regular season. The guys played catch-up Friday against Miami after losing the doubles point, but they pulled ahead by winning 5 of 6 singles matches to beat the Hurricanes 5-2 heading into Sunday's Senior Day matchup against Florida State. But it was back to business as the Tar Heels took the number 2 seed in the upcoming ACC tournament by beating the Seminoles 5-2. And this week, we're finishing up our in-depth look at the bowl system. Rachel Nash joins us live in the studio. Rachel, last week, Justin Page told us about the high cost UNC faces when it goes bowling. Are there any positives to bowl appearances?
Andy, although bowls are costly for Carolina, there are incentives that are difficult to measure. But still, with all the problems facing the bowl system, many are wondering, is there a better option?
7 million viewers tuned into ESPN to watch Carolina beat Tennessee in the Music City Bowl.
It's a big deal in the recruiting world and the status of your program.
UNC Athletics Director Dick Bador understands what a bowl appearance and even better, a bowl victory means for the university.
I think it's a status within your program that's a declaration of achievement, and it's an opportunity to draw attention to your football program.
UNC has gone to 3 bowl games in the past 3 years, but in 2 of those bowl appearances, program cost exceeded the expense allowance provided by the ACC. Head coach Butch Davis declined an interview for this story, but told us in a statement that he, like Bador, stands by the bowl system. "I believe in the bowl system because it's an enjoyable reward for the players. They get to enjoy the city and have a chance to finish their seasons with a win. But many in the world of college athletics are calling for reform, including former UNC system president William Friday. Friday co-founded the Knight Commission, a group dedicated to preserving academic values that are often forgotten in college athletics.
We've let this get out of hand like we've let a lot of things about college sports get out of hand.
And the controversy surrounding the bowl system is increasing each season. The NCAA crowns 88 champions in 23 sports, in everything except Division I football.
The NCAA should commission a group of people with both BCS and non-BCS people. And let's see what's right for the academic community, not what's right for the Chamber of Commerce.
Ann Bador agrees there's room for reform.
We need to work on it, and we have been, and we need to improve it.
Some believe that the better alternative is a playoff system that still preserves the major bowls. However, lower bowls like UNC's recent hosts, the Meineke Car Care Bowl and the Music City Bowl, would not make the cut. That's why Bador says he doesn't support the idea of a playoff.
I'm not ready to throw it all out and to reinvent the wheel.
And Bador is right, a playoff option isn't a perfect solution to the problems surrounding the bowl system. 70 teams will play in bowl games next year, and if a playoff system were adopted, realistically, more than half of those teams would not see postseason action.
That's Rachel Nash live in the studio. Thanks, Rachel. The women's golf team is preparing for the NCAA tournament after winning the ACC championship and earning an automatic bid to the Big Dance. The ladies placed tops in the ACCs with a final score of 875, 24 strokes ahead of Duke. The team led all 3 days and were never really challenged. This win also gives Carolina a point against Duke in the Battle of the Blues. Carolina now leads 12-10 and needs just one of the 4 remaining points to retain the title. And guys, in gymnastics, junior Morgan Evans just finished competing at the NCAA championship. She's the first Tar Heel to go there since 2006 and placed 19th in the country.
Wow, always good to hear another Tar Heel success story, Andy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Andy.
All right, well, Joelle, growing up a few hours away in Charlotte, I know that hanging out at the local roller skating rink was always a lot of fun.
Definitely had a few birthday parties there myself. But coming up, one team shows us the difference between roller skating and roller warfare.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar?
At first, the idea of a women's roller derby team might sound cute or silly.
But as reporter Liz McLaughlin shows us, the teams are fierce and intense. Take a look.
Fans still rise for the national anthem, and referees still have to make tough calls. But otherwise, roller derby has little in common with other sports. The uniforms are anything but uniform. The players get to pick a number and an alter ego. Deviled Legs, Hot Mess Express, and Trashly are some of the players for the Carolina Roller Girls.
You get to pick a whole new identity for yourself, and you even get the cool uniform. So it's a lot of fun.
This Saturday was a doubleheader. At the main event, the Roller Girls were up against the San Diego Derby Dolls, who seemed to be no competition for the feisty locals. Old-time roller derby was like WWE on skates, but today the sport is anything but staged.
So you don't want to hurt anyone, but you want to scare them.
It requires skill and strategy.
Roller derby is an entertaining sport, but all the contact is authentic. So it's important that each participant wear the proper padding and a helmet before they enter the ring.
Flat track roller derby has 2 teams with 5 players each. 4 are defensive players, and 1 is the jammer. The jammers wear stars on their helmets and get points for the number of players they can pass. Storms interrupted the match Saturday, and fans had to evacuate to the basement of Dorton Arena to avoid a potential tornado. After the storm passed, the fans emerged with just as much enthusiasm to cheer the Roller Girls to victory. In Raleigh, I'm Liz McLaughlin, Carolina Week.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week. Thanks for watching and have a great night.